Hey, SBC 205 Public Speaking. Once again, I am Vic McInnes, your public speaking instructor. Real quick, I'm just going to go over some of the things I noticed from your 2-minute speeches. I will always do one of these after all the rest of the speeches from here on in. Little overarching comment here, first of all. Number one, this is where we begin to see the students who will listen to what I have to say and those who will not. It was very clear that some of y'all took exactly what I had to say. You listened to what I told you to do about the format. You listened to what I told you to do about nonverbal communication, and you followed along very closely, and you got comments like, overall, good job, or good job. Some of y'all did not, and we'll go over those. But from this point forward, all the speeches are going to be graded. So you're going to need to listen to what I tell you, because unlike, I don't know how others instructors work, but I will tell you what I will be grading on. And if you follow that advice, I will give you the exact things you need to do to get an A on every speech that you're going to do from this point forward. Okay? So first of all, let's go over some things that overall I saw repeatedly. Your comments and feedback will already be posted, so you should be able to look at those in Blackboard. Okay? Number one, framing of the shot. You can see me here. I'm looking at my iPhone. I can see the carpet below my feet. I can see whiteboard above my head. This shot is well framed. This shot is not. Okay? I cannot see my feet. And in that case, in the future, for all future speeches, you're going to lose points for that. All right? Some people will say, well, here you can see almost all my feet. I've gotten in too many arguments with too many students where, well, if this was okay, why wasn't this okay? If this was okay, why wasn't this? It's simple. Okay? Look at your speech before you submit the video and make sure I can see all the way from your toes all the way up to your heads. Okay? Second thing about camera angles and camera placement. Get your cameras up off the floor. All right? Prop them up on a chair, put them on a bookshelf, put them on a china cabinet. Okay? If you're going to have someone hold it, please make sure they hold it steady and don't do that, which I saw a couple of times. But get your cameras off the floor. When you're staring down like this at your camera, yes, you may be framed and I'm able to see everything, but it inhibits your ability to gesture naturally. It inhibits your ability, because I'm not making a judgment on your eye contact with the floor. I'm making judgment on how you're looking at your virtual audience. Okay? So right off the bat, in use of the camera, make sure you're framed properly. Okay? And make sure your camera is up off the floor so that you can look around and engage with your personal audience and not stare at a point 3 feet in front of your feet. Okay? Second of all, follow the format. I told you to do three very simple things. I said I wanted you to start with, today I am going to talk about, and then give us like 2 ideas that you were going to include. And then I told you that you would end with, today I spoke to you about, or I talked about. Now, most of you did that very well. I will stress, again, in this class, we do not start with, hey, hello, good morning, how you doing, what's up? Okay, and we do not start with our names. You'll be able to get to that later. We start with, again, we'll go over that a little bit later, but you're going to start with an attention device. Okay? And we never, ever, 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 ever end a speech with thank you. Okay? I'll discuss that with you later on, why we don't do that. Okay? So we don't start with hello, we don't end with thank you. All right, let's talk about the nonverbals. Proper posture. Feet shoulder width apart, weight evenly distributed on both feet, back straight, hands away from the torso. Head up, eyes making eye contact with your virtual audience. Okay? Is it okay to do that occasionally? Is it okay to occasionally, I have a tendency to check my ring and twist my ring? Is that okay? That's fine. But the gestures should be fluid and outward, not inward. Okay, couple of things right off the bat. Saw this a couple times. No swaying, no rocking back and forth on the feet. All right, go back and look at your videos and see if you find yourself going, okay, today I'm here to talk to you about because it happened more than once. All right? Second of all, weight evenly on 2 feet. Not like this, not like this, not like that. Weight should be planted, flat-footed. Very simple. Don't move them around. Just if you don't know what else to do, stand flat. Keep your feet right there. All right, biggest problem we had. 2 hands on the cards. Do not put is it okay to switch them? Absolutely. Is it okay to hold them like that occasionally and keep your hands out away from your torso? Absolutely. But what happens is a lot of people get locked in here like this. And then their gestures, instead of being large and outward, have a tendency to be right here. And that's not a good gesture. That's too small. A lot of times, 2 biggest comments I had, the 2 most common comments I had, were 2 hands on the cards, gestures need to be bigger. Okay? If you keep your hands off your cards and hold your cards with only 1 hand at a time, unless you're switching cards or changing your cards between hands. If you keep your hands out here, you're going to do fine. Okay? Gestures need to be to the outside. Gestures need to be above the waist. You need to relax your elbows. Okay? A lot of people, and one thing I like about YouTube is I can slide the little arrow back and forth along the timeline and watch your speech, 2-minute speech, in about 4 seconds. And I would slide it along and I would see people standing there like this. That is not a good gesturing posture. Relax your elbows. Get your hands outside, away from your body. Okay? Bigger gestures. Today, I'm here to talk to you about a lot of things that I find, and those are good gestures. They were actually effective gestures had they been up here where people are actually looking at them. Gestures below the chest really aren't going to be that effective. You should work on getting your chest, your shoulder high. Okay? So, relax the elbows, higher gestures, bigger gestures away from the torso, not in front of the torso. I'm going to caution you when you hear a phrase now for the first time. I talk a lot in my classes about the elbow lectern. Everybody knows what a lectern is. Okay? I don't let people use lecterns because you won't always have one, and if you can master giving a speech like this, you can use a lectern easy. But there are people who will use the elbow lectern, where they will lock that elbow in, and that card, you can hang a 50-pound weight from that forearm, and that arm ain't going nowhere. Okay? And the card never leaves in front of them, and it looks like you're hiding behind your cards. Okay? Now, last rule, no hats. Get rid of the hats. A couple of people were wearing baseball hats. And what happens when you wear a hat and you dip your head, you're literally putting a barrier in. So I don't care if it's a baseball hat, if it's a bucket hat, no hats. Period. Okay? Now, let me tell you why I focus so heavily on nonverbals. Nonverbals are generally going to be about 15 to 25% of your grades on the speeches you have coming up. All right? That's not a lot. Organization is going to take a lot more, and making sure you check off all the blocks in organization are going to be a lot more important. But listen, if you can put your feet like this, okay? If you can move your hand out to the side, if you can keep your head up, get your camera off the floor and look at the camera. If you can do those few simple things, that's 15% of your grade you don't have to worry about. That's pretty simple. Okay, last 2 things. Number 1, and I'll put this out in an announcement so there's no doubt, and I'll reinforce it, no edits in your speeches. If I see a cut in a speech where you've removed stuff from the edit, if it's not one long shot, you'll get a 0. All right? Because I don't know what you edited out, and this isn't a film editing class, it's a public speaking class. So if there's a cut in your speech, I'll give you a 0. Okay? Second thing, before you submit your speeches, go back and watch them. Because I know many, if not most of you, are doing the tape and then submitting it without ever looking at it. Because if you did, you'd realize you were doing this. Okay? When it becomes, your speech is starting from this point forward, your speeches are going to be 50, 75, 100, and 125 points. And it's going to be the majority of your grade for this class. I give you, great thing about doing it online is you can do these speeches 55 times before you submit the one you like. And I'm perfectly okay with that. But you need to go back and look and make sure you've got a good tape. That you're framed properly from head to toe and toe to head. That you can be heard. Okay? That you're not backlit. That I can see everything. That I can hear you. That the volume is that you're speaking loud enough. You need to go back and look at all of these things to make sure that you're giving a good speech. Then you submit it. It's that simple. And I don't care about that. In fact, I want you to do that. Because every time you practice it, every time you look at that video of you giving a speech, you get better at giving a speech. Okay? All right, that's it. Again, I want to stress overall, good job. A lot of y'all are going to get comments of good job on your speeches because they were good. 2-minute speeches are sort of where we start to say, hey, listen, here I am telling you what you need to get an A in this class. I'm telling you what to do to get 100% on every speech you're going to give in this class. Please follow my directions. Okay? It's that easy. This is an easy course for people that listen to my directions. Okay? That's it. Everybody stay safe, and we will see you soon.